Being back at Bowling Green has been nothing but positive since I arrived here in the summertime, and as we prepare for the upcoming season, we're very fortunate where we didn't lose anybody in the transfer portal. We had all eligible returners coming back to Bowling Green. We added a few freshmen ourselves. We had 3 freshmen join us, 3 out of the transfer portal as well, for 6 newcomers coming here to Bowling Green. And I think really when you have a transition like you have in a coaching change, I think a lot of credit and accolades have to go to the coaching staff. Curtis Carr, Stavros Beskaris, and Dylan Schoen did an unbelievable job throughout the transition, as well as the players. Sticking to the course, staying at Bowling Green, and we're in an era where players can move and transfer as they like. They all stayed put, which is a real positive, and I think just definitely helps you show. It definitely shows you how strong of a culture that BG hockey has right now. So we're excited about the season. We're going to have to rely on a committee of goal scoring. Obviously, scoring such a premium in today's game, not just in the CCHA, but throughout all of hockey. More and more teams are playing better defense. They're well coached, and we're going to have to generate a lot of our offense through structure and like I said, by committee throughout it. But we're definitely excited about what we have coming in with our returning, and more so just the mindset of our guys. I think they have a lot that they want to continue to build off of from last year, and show that we can be a strong hockey club this season.
Thanks, Coach. We have a few questions lined up already for you. We'll start off with Michael Burwell.
Hey, Coach. Michael Burwell with the Toledo Blade. Just kind of expanding on, the fact that you basically have the entire roster back from last year. I mean, just how important was that for you to keep this roster intact? And just what does it say about how close this team is?
Oh, Michael, I think it's always important to keep the nucleus together. They as a group, they've gone through a lot. They've gone through highs and lows throughout a season, stuff that we can continue to build on. And as I said, I think as we move forward, it'll pay dividends for our group. And the fact that they all stayed, I think, speaks testament to what they think of each other as a group, what they can accomplish as a group. And from a coaching standpoint, that's reassuring, because at the end of the day, I can't promise you how many goals we'll score or how the puck will bounce. But when we have a group that's committed to each other, we definitely can push each other to become better hockey players. And for me, what I've been able to see is a high level compete, high level respect for each other. They have lots of humility. We play to a certain standard, and they've just been a thirst of energy and wanting to know and learn the game. So big kudos to those returners, the whole group. We're looking forward to a big season, and I know we're going to rely heavily on those seniors.
Thank you.
Jared Rubedo.
Hey, Coach. You talked about how important your assistant coaches and the staff in general was at retaining every eligible transfer. But I want to ask, what was your process in this, and obviously joining this program again, and then getting all of the retention you had in terms of the transfer portal? What steps did you have to take as a new head coach in that?
Well, I definitely think the biggest part was having them understand. I talked to them about trust, and I said, you can never trust a person that tells you you can trust me. So I have to build trust. I have to earn their trust. And but the one thing I when I talk to them is, give me time to invest in you as a player and as a person. With today's athletes, I believe that your wins will take care of themselves if you invest in the student athlete. And one of the things I said to the players, I'm a big proponent on skill development. So how do we get better as a team? We utilize our opportunity on the ice to make players better, and we invest in them. And I was hoping that message sunk in, and it was a positive message to them, which it did, which was great. And so as we move forward, they were calm about it. And I said, in today's game, in college hockey, to keep everybody, I just think it speaks volume of the character of this group. And to not, like you said, not to have anybody, jump ship or move to a different school or look for a different opportunity. Again, it speaks volume for that group, but it just as much speaks volume for that staff throughout it, because without the staff of Curtis Carr, Stavros Pascaris, Dylan Schoen, they did an unbelievable job keeping all players at bay until the transition happened and occurred, and that I could get in here and have an opportunity to speak to them.
And one more for you here. The when you look at last year's group, there was a balanced scoring across the board from your forwards, but it seemed like there was maybe a lack of having a line that could go out there and get you a goal. I'm just when you're looking at the kind of the outlook for the season, where's that going to come from in terms of maybe an added scoring boost from a group of 3 guys, a group of 6 guys, in terms of finding that way to maybe see that boost offensively?
Yeah. Well, Jared, it's a great question because, really everybody's still new to me. I've had a lot of people ask me, what are my thoughts so far? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure where we stand in the CCHA. I'm not sure if we're, in the lower half, middle, upper half in terms of players. Obviously, we have some guys coming back that were able to produce a little bit more than others. But the one thing we've told them is those points don't come with you this year. It's a full clean slate here. There's no one that I personally brought in that I outside of the transfers, but there's no, like, it's a clean slate, and we got to earn our ice time. You got to earn your trust. And for us right now, we're still trying to balance out who are going to be those guys that, when the game's on the line, that we can put out there to have an impact offensively. And that's going to take time. It's going to take time with me. It's going to take time with the players to earn that trust. But obviously adding players like Matt V. Kavanaugh from Northern Michigan, Ville Immonen, and Jackson Niedermeyer up front, all 3 veteran players that done very well in college hockey. We're hoping that they can continue that transition, come into our system, and be able to help attribute to that and being a top player for us.
Thank you.
Right.
Hey, Coach, Trent Singer with the Rink Live. I think one thing it's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. I mean, you do have a lot of experience on this team. I mean, you have 8 seniors and 4 fifth-year guys. How is that reflected, just kind of in the culture and what you've seen from this team in these early practices?
Well, I can tell you, Trent, it's totally different because when you're talking to a 23-year-old man, you're going to have a conversation and get good feedback and dialogue, right? So those guys have been setting the bar for us. They've came every day, first to the rink. This is their last kind of kick of the can, and for a lot of them, they haven't had a winning season. They haven't had that experience. So our job as a team, our job as freshman, sophomore, junior, is to help send those players off on the right foot. They're part of the foundation, the building blocks. And as I told them, it's going to be up to them, though, to continue to monitor the locker room, to hold guys accountable, to continue to uphold our standard throughout it. And from there, we just got to drop the puck and play. I know they're excited, and always too, with the coaching change is always nerve-wracking, for everybody. And so we're still going through some of those right now, those feelings. But I can tell you those seniors and the 5th-year guys have been absolutely remarkable to coach. They're all professionals in the sense that they come to the rink, they want to learn, they take care of themselves, they're great at school, they're great in the community. So when you have a group like that we can just focus on hockey and everything else is taken care of, it's really refreshing from a coaching standpoint.
Couple more quick ones. Michael, back to you.
Hey, Coach, just looking at one of your freshmen coming in, Maxwell Martin was obviously the NAHL MVP and forward of the year last year for Wisconsin. Really impressive offensively. Just, what does he bring to the table? And I guess just how important was it, for you and the coaching staff to, have him stay committed and join BGSU?
Yeah, obviously he was a player, with the other freshmen, making sure not just our returners, that we had a freshman reporting and coming in, and Max has been great. I think the one thing with what Max brings is he's a flex player. Obviously, he put points up in the North American League, did very well, and had great success. But this year's another jump, and in terms of getting settled into college hockey, he's going from playing against boys to men now. And the one thing Max has, he has a fallback plan. He plays hard. He's physical. watching him on the ice. He's first on pucks. He gets to the net front. You can see why he had success at that level. He has very good details and tangibles to his game right now. And now it's just a matter of how quickly can that transfer and adjust to college hockey. As we all know, it's a big jump for a lot of these players. But the way he's been practicing, the way he's been competing, he's definitely going to have a great opportunity to step right in and be an impact player, not just this year, but for the next 4 years.
Thanks.
Jack, I believe is our last one. Last we have time for here.
Hey Dennis, sorry, this is Jack Hittinger from USCHO. I know we've been talking a little bit this offseason in general about major juniors and the effect that that potential could have on the game. But I guess as somebody that's coming directly from major juniors, you had some direct experience with how it's going to go. And I know you don't speculate on that thing right now since you're worried about your team. But I guess my question is, what sorts of coaching things can you take from being in major juniors? Any differences and similarities that you can maybe use coaching at BG? And I guess my second question is related to that. How does that sort of affect your recruiting yourself? Like, do you think you might be able to get some guys that could go major junior that say, hey, I'm at BG now. You might want to come play college hockey. I think it's sort of an interesting thing that we don't see a whole lot of the major junior coaches coming to college hockey. And I know you've got experience at every level, so you've sort of got a unique perspective on that.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, so I have it right, it was just regarding the coaching philosophies of major junior and what I could bring to college kind of in that aspect. So hockey's hockey. That's the best part about it. Whether I'm coaching here, I've got to coach at every league out there, from the North American League, USHL, college, major junior, world juniors, whatever it is. It's all the same. To me, it's all about getting the team to buy into a certain way you want to play, to have a clear identity and live up to that identity. So one thing our group has talked about is we want to be a relentless group. We want to bend and not break, and we're going to face highs and lows throughout a year, and we got to be able to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You hear those sayings all the time. So for us, from coming from the Western League to here, not much will change in the coaching. Development will be key. Working on making the athlete a better athlete will help us eventually, hopefully, turn any losses or close games into wins. And then your last question was regarding coming back. Sorry, I kind of lost you there a little bit.
Just talking about your experience being in the Western League, you maybe have some more connections and maybe connections with players that might not have thought about coming to college hockey before, but maybe they know you and you could maybe try and get some of those guys, or some coaches in Canada that could maybe you get some guys of a different caliber that could maybe decide to come to BG instead of staying in Canada and going and playing major junior.
Yeah, well, obviously, like anything, kids all have choices now, and obviously, I've spent 7 years in the Western Hockey League in the CHL, and have a lot of friends in the Western League, coaches and GMs along the Ontario Hockey League and Quebec League as well. And at the end of the day, I've said this when I was a major junior, and I'll say the same now. I don't think there's a right or wrong path. It's for each individual family and kid at the end of the day, and it's our job to put our best foot forward and present them why Bowling Green in the CCHA is the right path for their son. And it's up for other teams to do whatever they need to do for themselves. But for me, our focus is always just going to be on what we think is best for Bowling Green, how we can make that player a better student athlete and provide them not only a great experience on the ice, but off the ice. But major junior is going to open up. If major junior does open up, it's going to open up a whole different wave of recruiting and a different approach, and obviously having those connections and being able to coach in that league, if it does open up, will again hopefully pay dividends as we move forward.